This meeting is being held in compliance with the Brown Act. SCAG offices are open for members of the public to attend and participate in person. Instructions for providing public comment have been provided in advance and are also included in the agenda packet. Members of the public participating remotely should ensure their microphone is muted when not in use. Any member of the public calling into this meeting by telephone can press *6 to mute and unmute. All telephone participants should identify themselves prior to speaking. SCAG encourages all members of the public to participate in its meetings. We are committed to holding meetings accessible to people with disabilities. For members of the public requiring ADA accommodation, please call 213-630-1410. SCAG offers free interpretation services for members of the public needing information in another language. Please call 213-236-1895. The meeting will now begin.
If yeah, she does. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here. I know we all have our mouths full at this point. We had a very robust JPC meeting. We will call this meeting to order. And Clint, we're going to ask you to lead us in the pledge. Do you mind with the mouthful?
Please rise. Place your right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we do working on a quorum, right, Maggie? And our little button or machines aren't quite working so far, but they're working on that. And Ruben, you have an announcement to make for us too?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Mr. President. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm wanting to let the RC know that you have one member of your body who, under an accommodation under the Americans with Disabilities Act, is participating remotely this afternoon. That is Mayor Frank Navarro from the city of Colton. Mayor Navarro, if you can hear me, will you please acknowledge your presence so the committee knows you are here? You may be on mute. We're not catching anything. Okay, Mr. President, I think we can assume that Mayor Navarro is not with us at this time.
Okay, thank you. And we're waiting for our quorum. Any public comment on matters of the agenda today, either submitted or here in presence?
Mr. President, there were no written comments submitted by yesterday's 5 p.m. deadline for the RC.
Great. Thank you. And we have one action item, that's safety targets, but we also have a consent calendar that is 2 through 9. Seeing no objections, I'd like to include that all in one vote. Have any discussion on that? Any public comments on those? If not, I entertain a motion for
Move
1 through 9.
approval. Second.
Start over again, Steve.
Move approval.
Steve, and who is the second? Okay, Dan. You got that, Maggie? Daniel.
Mr. Chair, Mr. President.
Yeah, you're back, Frank.
Yeah, the host had me muted and I couldn't unmute my microphone.
Okay. Good to
Thank
see you. So we have a motion for items 1 through 9 and not a roll call vote. Can I, what's the easiest way to do this?
Mr. President, did you want to actually do the presentation for item 1?
We can. Okay, we'll do the presentation on 1. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sarah is going to present.
We ready for me? Okay, great. Thank you so much. Hello, everybody. My name is Sarah Dominguez. I'm the manager of planning strategy. And today staff are asking for your approval of the calendar year 2025 regional safety targets, which were developed specific to our region using our internal safety model, and which, if approved, would be submitted to Caltrans by the end of the month by the February 28th deadline in support of federal transportation performance management reporting requirements. Your packet includes a detailed staff report explaining our methodology, which is similar to what we've.
Can you raise your microphone? I'm sorry.
The microphone is on. I have a tall problem. Do I need to lean? All right, I'll do some leaning. It's okay. I'm going to be working on the screen so I can lean. But I wanted to say that the methodology that we've used to develop this target is similar to what we've been using since 2021. And since it's detailed in the staff report, I want to use this opportunity to speak with you today to demonstrate one of our newest, about to be released tools related to safety. Transportation system safety remains a high priority in the region, and so to support improvements to regional safety outcomes, SCAG develops a number of resources to support local jurisdictions. So what I have on the screen here is our safety predictive modeling analysis platform, which SCAG has been developing with the support of grants from the Office of Traffic Safety. It's a web-based tool based on the Citian's crash software, and it allows local planners to model, predict, and analyze local transportation system safety risks with the goal of being able to actually reduce the number and severity of traffic collisions. So I've opened here to the Vision Zero dashboard. This is relating to the goal of getting to zero traffic-related fatalities and serious injuries. And I'm looking at the monthly snapshot of the region. Your local jurisdiction could set up this platform to just analyze for within your jurisdiction boundaries, but with this monthly report, I can quickly see the number of crashes and injuries, who's been involved in those in the past month. And then a feature that's useful throughout the tool is being able to quickly then export this either as is or as a CSV file so that you could customize and be able to put this into staff reports, updates to your community, essentially making what could have been a day-long process something that's possible within a matter of minutes. So now I'm going to move over to the crash map. And just to note that this platform is based on SWTR's data, that's statewide data, and it includes over 1 million records since 2019. Right now, I'm looking at about 2 years worth of data. So as I zoom in, more will populate. And I'm just going to zoom in to the downtown Los Angeles area. So I want to see, maybe I want to print out a map for my community members to show them what's going on. So I'm just going to look at the heat map. It's going to take another minute to load here. But again, this is something that you could customize. Right now I have it loading data for the whole region. And you could customize it just for your jurisdiction. But I'm starting to see it's taking a little bit to render here, but you can start to see just the overall trend of what's going on for the amount of crashes. So as it'll load, you'll see that because we have the 110 and the 101 here, that's where a lot of the incidents are going to be occurring. And then you see some pockets of where there may be some areas of more incidents on certain intersections here. There we go. So you can see, and this is taking all of the different incidences. So I'm gonna, let's see, I want to look a little bit more detail about what's going on. So I see, I'm gonna zoom in here to one of these intersections. And one of the things here, I'm kind of in a discovery mode. So I'm just looking around and wanting to get a feel of what's happening within my community. So let's say if I want to see what's the change of weather. So now I can see with the legend, that light blue. Well, it looks like most of the incidences that are happening downtown here are during clear days. I see some incidents with rain when it's cloudy. Maybe I want to look at collision types. Looks like there's a mix. There's some rear ends, some side swipes. If I toggle over here to the 110, no surprise, a lot more rear ends happening on there. So you can start to zoom in on what's going on with the different areas, what type of incidences are occurring. And then I want to click on just one of these. Let's see, I want to look back at what's the severity, because I only want to pull up a property damage. I don't want us to. So here I can click on any of these points within the map, and I could open up the full report on this crash, but I can see quickly what type it was. It happened at 2:20 p.m. It wasn't related to DUI or speeding. What was the weather? So you can start to get really specific about what is the nature of the safety incidences that are occurring within your community. So your staff could then use this data and start to do queries to support them with developing an active transportation plan. Maybe you just want the data to be pulled of what's going on. Your staff could be using this for updating a safety element in a general plan or in a capital improvement plan. So I'm not going to go through the demonstration of each of the features here, but I want to call out that, you know, there's a number of ways that you could work with this data. So say, for example, constituents in your community are really concerned about drunk driving. You could quickly do an analysis of what are the DUI incidences, so you can get all the information on when are they happening, what time of day, is there a certain day of the week, what's the nature of all of those, and really to be able to specify what kind of strategy you want to use to try to mitigate that situation. There's also census data embedded within this. So say, for example, your community is really concerned about the safety of senior citizens. So then you could look at where are those populations located within your community. You could even integrate that with where are pedestrian collisions happening, and really hone in on how to focus your strategies, and even just have the conversation with your community of what are those incidences occurring. So again, this is, we're looking at historical data, so incidences from 2019 to present. But I want to demonstrate one of the namesake features of this tool. So I'm going to go back to the dashboard and go to this predictive analysis. So the historical data is really informative, and it can help us to look at where we want to address our attention. But there's also a feature within this tool about looking at the observed, so that historical, and then the predictive. So using the mathematical relationship between the roadway characteristics described in the Highway Safety Manual and what we would expect to see in terms of incidences based on traffic control and that roadway geometry, we can start to look at what's actually occurring here versus what would we expect to be occurring here. So I've done a quick run of observed to predicted incidences, and this is only showing us some of the poorer performing things, just because I don't have that many records showing up, but it would also be showing you what intersections are having less incidences than we would expect to see. So I don't want to single any jurisdiction out. I'm just honing in on an intersection that I drive through often, just to demonstrate what you can do here. So if I click on that intersection, it's going to pull up exactly what incidences are occurring there. And I think I have this set to just a limited time period, about 2 years there. So you could look at longer if you wanted to see. The lines that are on the map, those are just the diagrams for the type of incidents happening, but I can scroll down and see the severity, when of the day of the week is that happening, what types of incidences, the weather, all those details. You know, but one thing is that this platform then is also pulling in data from the US DOT Crash Modification Factors Clearinghouse. So then by looking at the type of incidences that are happening on this specific intersection and the characteristics of that specific intersection, it can start to make recommendations about what are the type of countermeasures to address the safety concerns. So as it ran that analysis, if I'm looking to improve the incidences and the safety issues at this intersection, it's telling me that I should provide a left turn lane on both major road approaches. I should modify the signal phasing. I should add 3-inch yellow reflective sheeting to signal backplates and increase yellow change intervals. And it's giving me an estimated cost, an estimated benefit. Obviously, you would work with your engineers to customize this. But let's say straight off the bat, so this is giving me over 300,000. I know that I do not have 300,000 of the budget for one intersection. So I want to do a quick optimization. I know that I only have 50,000. So then it's going to tell me, well, then convert to intersection to median U-turn, modify the signal phasing. Those are things within that budget that could address the specific safety issues that are occurring within that intersection. And so the way that I got to this intersection was through that observe versus predictive. You may already have a certain intersection, or your community members may be interested in something. So you don't need to go through this way of analysis. You can go straight to that intersection. You could run this analysis on any intersection within your community to see what would be the recommended countermeasures. But I do want to emphasize that, you know, this type of work and doing this analysis and working through the US DOT Crash Modification Factors Clearinghouse, typically that can take staff or your consultants about a month to prepare this type of analysis. But I think we want to reiterate that while a lot within this tool can help you do that analysis, information quicker, you know, it does not replace decision making. So hopefully it can help you to get to that point of having the public meeting, sharing, you know, discussing with your other constituents or within your committees about what to do. But this is just helping you hopefully get to those decision points faster. So last thing I want to demonstrate, let's say that I did make some improvements to this intersection, and then I want to run a before and after. So we're not gonna probably see great results from this because we didn't actually make any improvements, but I'm showing this to you because, so it could show you at a point in time when you made the improvement, you can look at what are the crashes before, what are the crashes after, so you can demonstrate the value of that investment. And I want to share this because there's likely improvements that you've made in your community since 2019. So you could go into that intersection today, and sorry, not today, because this is launching in March. I'll share that in a minute. But you would be able to run this analysis to see what are the changes since you've made any sort of improvements within the last few years. So that sums up what I was planning to share with you today. To wrap up, you know, I just wanted to highlight that this tool can provide a wealth of information, again, in much more detail. There's so much analysis that I wouldn't try to share all in this afternoon, but hopefully you can see the benefit that this can provide, either whether you're just wanting to get regular updates from your staff about what's going on in your community, if you're on the getting ready to update an active transportation plan, a safety plan, looking at your capital improvements. Hopefully this can help you get to those decision points faster, and help your staff be able to work through all this data and provide maps to your constituents very quickly. So hopefully I've piqued your interest enough to help you get the word out to your staff. This will be available at no cost to jurisdictions. In March is when it's launching. And there is a Toolbox Tuesday training available now. So if we can share that out so your staff can dig a little bit deeper in what's available within the tool, what they can do, what the capabilities are, so they can start thinking of how they may want to use it and what they have planned for the next coming months. So I'm happy to take any questions on this.
Very, very cool, you know, software. This is where data can really help us direct our limited capital improvements and things for the future. And you say it comes out in March. Can you make sure that we all get a link so we can forward it to the appropriate staff in our jurisdictions if they haven't already? And I would love to see maybe some PR by SCAG working with this group to kind of show what we're doing as a
Great.
leadership.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've already had a couple of Toolbox Tuesdays with great participation from some of your staff already. I think we'll do some more of that. And for sure, when it's ready for prime time, we'll let you all know with specific detail on the link. I just want to add a caveat because sometimes with a presentation like this, folks can feel like they can just make decisions on what solutions will be proffered on a roadway right immediately. What this does is it really reduces the cost of getting to decision making, like Sarah's saying. The analysis that you would have needed, the data you'd have need to gather, we've sort of ramped that up, and it's at at no cost to you. So that's really the big get here. It does not replace the need to do an engineering analysis and have an engineer sign up on a project that gets done. I know you all know that, but it needs.
I was going to say I can cut my staff now in the engineering department quite a bit.
It needs to be said out loud. So we're not imagining that we're going to go from this data and just start building something on the road. So,
Sarah, is there have you been in contact with the regional transportation authorities as well? Because as well as it zooms to the streets, but also all the freeway construction we've been doing and all that too.
I'll reach out to my staff to confirm exactly what the nature of those communications or training. Like there are staff from those agencies on our listserv for like the Toolbox Tuesday. So to the extent that their staff are engaged with us on that. But yeah, this is something I should point out, in addition to having licenses available for your jurisdiction staff, I know that a number of jurisdictions also work with consultants. So, we want to make this data quicker so you can maybe spend less money on the consultants too. So that's something that an avenue we can provide as well to give access to any consultants that are working on your behalf.
Very, very, very well done. Any public comments on this? If not, we have a motion in the second 1 through 9. Great job, Sarah. We already do, right, Maggie? So we just now push the button.
So for members who are new to the voting devices, please ensure that your cards are in the device. 1 will be for a yes, 2 will be for no, and 3 will be for abstention. I will now proceed to display the item and as well open the voting if you give me a moment. And you can start your voting.
My device does not appear to be working.
If your device not work, then you could just yell at your name to Maggie. She can stick it in. We got Frank too. Do you want to?
This thing keeps muting me, okay? So yeah. Yes.
Calendar, which includes items 2 to 6 and receive and file 7 through 9.
Yes.
Thank you. I'll give it a few more seconds, Mr. President. I will proceed to stop the voting. The motion passes with 45 votes. That includes Mayor Navarro's vote. With 45 yeses, 0 vote noes, 0 votes abstentions, for a total of 45.
Thank you, Maggie. And in my efficiency, for those who know me, I run things pretty quickly, and I apologize. Sometimes I blow over things. I forgot to recognize all our new RC members, and I think we even have a slide on that. If you're new to the RC, can you stand and just at least wave? Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome, and thank you for joining us on this. This is actually one of the lighter meetings that you'll have today, just because we didn't have a lot. We had a lot at the Joint Policy Committee earlier, but welcome and thank you for attending here. This beautiful building of ours. We'll move on to Business Representative, President, Executive Director's report. Is there any public comment on those 3 reports at this point? Nope. And I get to try to be Lucy today because I'm not. Lucy's not here. So she can be here today. How is she prepared in her business report, which is located toward the end of the agenda packet on 115. So that's
who's on that screen?
Oh, you are, Lucy. Do you want to report on it?
Well, I was told in the interest of time that it would be wise if I just leave it to you, Mr. Chairman, and everything is there. I'm happy to answer questions.
No, we do have time, but I was told you're not at a notice location, so you can't report out anyway. So I'm sorry, but thank you for joining us today, Lucy. You always give us great information.
You betcha. I think I did notice my location, however, but it's okay.
You're in Hawaii right now. Can we join you next time? Is that it?
I was actually in South America.
Well, she always does great reports. Look at 115 if you get a chance and give us the updates on this. For my report's pretty quick. It's time to start registering for February 10th for our General Assembly, which is coming up February 10th. Anybody not go one of those things yet? Okay, it's one of the better groups. Is where all the cities and all the leaders get together with our business partners, and we talk policy for 3 days. Maybe eat a little bit too much as well, but that's okay. Ray's been doing a fantastic job of setting it up, so it's going to be better than ever as he beats all the previous records and fundraising and getting the right speakers together. Maggie will have all the information, but it's May 1st and 2nd, the JW Marriott in Palm Desert. Maggie does a great job of wrangling us all in and making all the arrangements. So thank you for that. You and your team for making a great conference coming up. And then as a reminder, the next regular regional council meeting is scheduled for March 6th as well. And for that, I'll turn on to Cole.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good to be here again. We just had a good conversation at the JPC on resilience and recovery. And from my observation, it was a conversation that didn't end. And we expect that we'll carry that on into each of the policy committees, focusing on their area, their subject area, as it relates to the subject of resilience and recovery. The end result will be to come back to the regional council with some set of actionable items that whatever pleases you all, that we should take as SCAG as we support the ongoing effort, but also as we plan for the eventualities of the future disasters that we might have. I reported at the EAC this morning that we're committed to support local agencies on recovery and resiliency, and one of the things that we're working on is dealing with our folks in DC and Sacramento, to the extent that there's resources that are available there. We want to participate in that. We'll also want to draw your attention to an item on your consent calendar, which had to do with AB 226, which has to do with insurance, the Fair Plan, California Fair Plan Association insurance. That is a bill that's authored by Assembly members Lisa Calderon and David Alvarez, and supported by the California Building Industry Association. We're supporting that effort. It's an effort to try and make sure that we keep the Fair Plan liquid. And one of the options is being able to have capacity to bond through the iBank. We had presented this to the LCMC, and you just approved it on consent. So we appreciate that. We'll continue to bring to your attention the issues that we have to deal with on insurance, whatever we can do as a regional agency to help with insurance situation in the region. SCAG has updated the housing environment and land use parcel tool. As you imagine, there's an acronym that comes with that, right? We can't just give you a long name like that and not give it an acronym. We call it the Helper tool. And so this is the Helper 3.0, HELPR. It's now available online. This is one of the things I'm proudest the most about one of the tools we put out, because it helps every single city to be able to address the details of housing statistics that you have in your communities. So it provides you a dashboard. It offers a site-specific interactive mapping tool for land use, environmental planning, and sustainable development. The key features in this update includes housing statistic dashboard and a wildfire risk overlay, and the tool aligns with local plans. It does align local plans with regional policies. We built this tool as part of our regional data platform, which you're all familiar with, and it provides the latest parcel level data from Connect SoCal 2024. The last thing I think I have to report has to do with the Mojave Desert Highway sanction clock. I'd mentioned before that we were having some challenges with air quality highway sanction situations amongst all the 3 air districts that cover the SCAG region. EPA disapproved the Mojave Desert AQMD. They disapproved their air plan, and so because of that, it triggers a 24-month highway sanction clock, and so the underlying issues need to be addressed. There's conversations going on. We're engaged in it. We're a little bit removed from the beginning of the sanction yet, but we also are concerned about being able to resolve the underlying issues because the issues are beginning to lead to litigation. And I just want to raise this to your attention as we get closer and the heat gets hotter on it. We'll keep you apprised. Our expectation in these things is that we will have it resolved and we wouldn't have to stop federal approvals on millions of dollars of projects within the region. So that's all I'll say about that. As it gets better, or if it or not, you'll hear some more about it from us. With that, Mr. President, I will be glad to entertain any questions.
Thank you. We have any questions for Comey? Seeing none. I will say for future agenda items, we all seen this. We have a new administration at the federal level that are making great changes. A lot of our policy and funding comes from the Fed and it affects the states. So our legislative team will be very busy because between the new state legislature, I think over 50% of the members are brand new this year, as well as our federal change and maybe policies that come and maybe the funding streams. We're going to try to get some updates as we get things. I don't think there's much of a crystal ball at this point, but I know it affects us all. So we're going to kind of add that in somewhere, maybe at the RC, maybe at the EAC. So we're trying to get the information as we get it through one source. So sorry, there's more work for them. But with that, we will adjourn today's meeting. I told you to be light today. In memory of Mary Lou Navarro, resident, advocate, and champion of Colton, San Bernardino County. Our thoughts and prayers, our heartfelt condolences are with her and all the loved ones. Mayor Navarro has been a good friend and a good member here at SCAG for a long time. May her rest in peace and may her memory forever be a source of strength and inspiration for all of us. With that, we are adjourned. Thank you very much for being here.